on Monday, the governor of your state announced that some small, non-essential businesses, including gyms, tattoo parlors, and nail salons, are going to be opening up as soon as Friday. You said there's no good reason to do this, which of course I agree with, but what is he doing? What's going on here?
We honestly don't understand. The mayors of our largest cities have all expressed deep concern, as have our scientists. Georgia is not flattening the curve. We have one of the highest rates of infection and one of the lowest rates of testing. But what's even more concerning is that while he tends to try to treat this as an issue of small business owners, what I know as a former small business owner, is that the people who are going to be sent to the front lines are the people who are the least resilient. They likely don't have health insurance. They probably won't have protective equipment. But most importantly, they can't afford to say no if they're told to go back to work. So they risk the possibility of sacrificing their health in order to keep a job that's going to pay them low wages and not protect them if they get sick. This makes no sense, and it doesn't improve our economy. It simply puts more Georgians at risk.
Stacey, I understand both sides of this issue. Look, we can't stay closed forever, but also our health and our safety should be the priority, right? So I'm wondering, what is happening in Georgia? What is the thought process, the logic to opening places like bowling alleys and massage parlors and hairdressers? Is there a way of staying 6 feet apart when you're getting your hair done or your nails done? How do you see this actually going into action? How is it going to work?
There is no logic, and that's part of the problem. We only shut down Georgia 2 weeks ago. So let's remember, we were one of the last states to respond to the call for shutdown because the governor did not recognize that asymptomatic people could spread the disease. We are seeing our rates rise over the last 2 weeks, not decline. And we know that you cannot perform a tattoo from 6 feet away. You can't do someone's nails from 6 feet away. But I want you to remember who you saw the last time you walked into a nail salon, who you saw working on the front lines at a restaurant. Those are the people who need to be home protecting themselves and their families, making sure that they are safe because they are often the only breadwinners. And instead of protecting their lives, we are prioritizing the potential of the economy. We have a federal system for a reason. And just yesterday, the Senate agreed to refund and to put more money into the Paycheck Protection Act. That's the solution to the economic challenges we face, not putting people's lives on the line so you can say you did something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with you. I've been taking this this reopening of Georgia very seriously and personally because I have family in Georgia. My father is from there, and they've been staying home. They've been following, the guidelines, and now they are very concerned over this decision. The governor certainly, in my opinion, is taking a really high stakes health bet. Especially when it comes to African Americans there, who are bearing the brunt of this virus. What do you say, though, to people who are worried about when they will get their next paycheck or how they are going to put food on the table? Because it's easy, I think, for me to say stay home because I'm working from home and getting a paycheck.
So I think there are three things. Number one, we need Congress to act. They need to pass this Paycheck Protection Act, but they also need to finance the public safety equipment that we need to protect our frontline workers. Number two, we need to make certain that our unemployment insurance processes are working better. Georgia is one of the states that over the last 20 years under Republican leadership cut into and decimated our unemployment insurance. Part of the challenge here is that we need to use the systems that were put in place for such a time as this, not put people's lives on the lines because we made mistakes, and more importantly, because they made mistakes. But number three is why I'm working with Project 100, because we know that the most vulnerable people, those who are receiving SNAP benefits, need access to cash now, and they are unlikely to receive their stimulus checks. They're waiting longer to get through the unemployment lines. And we need to make certain that no one has to put their lives at risk to take care of their families. My younger brother is a social worker. He works with vulnerable communities. He is an essential worker who has a letter that lets him travel around the city of Atlanta working with people who are at risk. And every time I talk to him, he has to take off his masks and his gloves and has to remind folks how to take care of themselves. I worry about my brother every day, and we shouldn't have to add new people to the front line simply because people are worried about government not doing its job.